It's Car Con Carne. Let's eat in the car. It's Car Con Carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
Well, it looks like we're live. Hey, good news. It's Car Con Carne. I'm James Van Alstyne, still at home. That's going to be the case for a long time, it looks like. Car Con Carne is sponsored in part tonight by C&H Financial Services, chfs.us. Tonight, my guest is a master chef. He is a local guy. We love him. He is Scot Fisher. Hello, Scott.
Hey, James. Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
So I want to talk about your career, but before we get there, we got to talk about your new business venture because I've got hot food in front of me and I don't want it to get cold. The delivery service you created is Happy to Meet You. Meat, of course, being a homophone, MEAT. It is a delivery service wherein high quality meat is delivered to your door. I'll let you explain because I'm terrible at this, apparently.
No, it's. I mean, you hit it right on the head. We've decided that, with what's going on in the world today and with the restaurants shutting down, going to your favorite steakhouse to get a great quality steak is obviously a challenge. And also going to your local market. I mean, I went to my local market in my area and a lot of the cuts aren't available. You can't find those prime steaks and the really good quality, the wet aged, dry aged steaks. Yeah. They're just not out there. If you do find them, you pay an arm and a leg.
And it's not just that. I find myself rushing when I go to the store now. This is not
enjoyable.
No, the pandemic is not a time to linger in the butcher area. I'm just kind of getting in and getting out, and it feels like a beat the clock thing whenever I go grocery shopping now.
Yeah, and so what we found was that the distribution system at the quality level was drying up because the restaurants were no longer purchasing the quantities of prime meats, steaks, chops, and even seafood at the levels that they once were. So you have these purveyors that have the quality meats. And it's different than, the Tysons or the mass market purveyors.
For sure.
And they're struggling, and they were trying to find a better way to reach out to the consumers who are no longer going to the restaurants. So a group of us got together and we were talking about it. And it's been tried at various levels. And we decided that we could partner with some of the top purveyors, one in particular in Chicago, and provide consumers in the Chicagoland area an alternative to going to their local meat market, getting better quality meat, getting the same steaks you can get at all the top steakhouses in Chicago. In fact, it's the same purveyor that's providing those steaks to those steakhouses. So it's the same cut. And we decided, what a better way to offer our services than to have it dropped off at your doorstep. And what makes it really, and what makes it unique, and I want your feedback, your honest feedback on what you're enjoying tonight, is that the steaks, when you place your order with us the night before, the steaks don't get cut until about 4 a.m. that next morning. So the morning of delivery, when you receive your provisions, everything was cut by these artisan butchers, hand-cut, crafted steaks. You can even specify the thickness of the steaks you'd like to receive. And then they're delivered to your door by a team of delivery drivers. And the delivery drivers that we brought on have been displaced from the restaurant industry and from other industries. So there's a very nominal delivery fee for the steaks. And that goes right back to help support those drivers, to give them an added income. So we kind of want to give back in that regard.
This goes back to something we've been talking about a lot on the podcast, is the need to innovate through the pandemic.
Yeah.
We need to find new ways to do things that we loved, where the old ways just don't work. And this is it. This is a perfect example.
And hopefully, we can give back, but we can also provide what I think is a valuable service. And you just can't go. I mean, you can go to your local meat market, pay out the door for a price, for a tomahawk chop, for example. I mean, I did it just as a test, and it's pricey, and you're not getting the same quality that you can get, through the provisions that we've sourced. And again, all of our steaks are dry aged or wet aged, a minimum of 21 to 41 days. You don't have to buy in bulk, so you don't have to buy that. You don't have to buy 10 of one particular cut of meat. If you want one New York strip, a chicken breast in a porterhouse, so be it.
Which makes sense
Mhm.
because most of us are just at home every night with immediate family. We're not entertaining. We're not throwing cocktail parties. We're not doing big things. We're just doing meal by meal, and that's a great option.
And it's a great option. And we're enhancing our website, and I'll be providing some tips along with some other friends that I have in the culinary world. So we're going to be sharing a lot of great ideas. We're going to be launching a marketplace where we have a partnership with a great brand of spices called Spiceology. So we have a lot of exciting things coming. But again, the main goal was to be able to provide the Chicagoland area with the same great cuts that they've enjoyed over the years. And now if you can't go in, and I've talked to some people who physically are challenged, with health reasons, that they don't want to run the risk of going to a restaurant, even if they're open at 50% capacity. And this is a great alternative. These are all, the meat and potatoes eaters that want to enjoy those the steakhouse cuts. So, we've provided that alternative. And in no way am I putting down not going. I fully support going to your local restaurant. Keep going to your local steakhouse.
Absolutely.
But for those who can't, this is a great alternative.
And I mean, we've learned through this pandemic, we're all cooking more at home. Even with restaurants open up, we're in the groove of cooking. We've got this down. And so let's up the game and eat the legit best cuts of meat we can.
Absolutely. And some of the tips that I've provided over the years, and even with my cooking episodes that I've had in the past, there's a lot of, you don't have to be in a rush. Nothing has to come out piping hot. You can relax, just prepare. I call it mental mise en place, figure out what you want to serve and just enjoy what you're doing and make it simple. You don't have to go to the extent. I'm a purist. So for me, it's salt and pepper. I don't,
little garlic salt.
Absolutely. Not garlic powder.
Okay. That's what I meant. Thank you.
Yeah. Garlic powder and by all means, I mean, for anybody who's cooking out there, the salt of choice, and write this down, go out and get it. Don't ever look back, is Diamond Crystal Salt. You'll never fail.
Noted. All right. So again, we're going to talk about your career in cooking and the culinary world. Before we get there, I got a box today from Happy to Meet You. I got a New York strip. I got the French pork cut,
the French bone,
and the lemon garlic chicken, I believe.
It's a garlic chicken breast.
Garlic chicken breast. Sorry,
which
I haven't made it yet, but tonight, right before we jumped on, got the steak and the pork going, and so I haven't touched it yet. I've been savoring it. The smell. I've been looking at this, and it's been split with my 18-year-old who was as excited as I was to receive this box. He's like, "Is the box coming today? When's it coming?" I want to go for a run. I don't want to miss the box. He wanted to be there for the unboxing. Like, this is where we're at because he loves cooking. That's been one of the total side note, total tangent. One of the benefits of the pandemic is he really has found his passion cooking. He loves cooking. So
a lot of people have.
But I never had that. I love cooking now, but when I was 18, no way. Let's go to McDonald's. That was my mantra, in high school. But he loves cooking and he couldn't wait to get his hands on some of this.
Yeah. And to that point, and I'm just as guilty as everybody else. And I think what the shutdown has done, and I think a lot of people agree, it sort of gives you a level set or a reset. Yeah. And I want to tell you, I was eating out a ton and I cook. And I can't tell you, I mean, other than the few extra pounds I put on probably over the last couple of months, but it's healthier, it's better, and you save a ton of money.
That is the truth.
I mean, you really do. It's incredible, and it's enjoyable. And now I don't even really want to go out as often as I did. In fact, when I do, I'm almost uncomfortable. I would much rather prepare food at home. So,
especially talking about meat like this.
Well,
so I'm sharing the strip with my son. I'm going to eat it with my hands. I can do that in front of you.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. That's what we're meant to do.
I think we got it. I think I got a nice.
I think you nailed that. Perfect. A perfect medium to medium. That to me is the quintessential steak. I'm not a real rare guy.
Yeah, this is exactly as pink as I wanted.
You've got a great crust on the outside.
So working in conjunction with my home chef, my 18-year-old, put the cast iron skillet in the oven, got it super hot,
Screaming hot.
put it on the stove top, put some butter on it, and before it browned, we put the steak on, which was seasoned. It's salt, pepper, and garlic powder.
And what I'll usually do, a real good tip, I'll wait for and it should be tender. That's a wet aged steak that you have there. You'll notice when you get a strip steak somewhere else, it'll probably tend to be very veiny and tough.
This is so flavorful.
Is it?
Not tough at all. And one thing I noticed, the marbling was beautiful on the steak when I got it.
Yeah, great. And that's because
the flavors, right?
It's prime, and that's so only very few cattle in the U.S. and outside the U.S. can be labeled as true prime. A lot of people try to pass off prime meats, but it's all about the marbleization and the intramuscular fat, as it may be, to what makes really a great steak.
Oh my God, Scott, this couldn't be any more delicious.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I'm glad I'm sharing it with my son, because I would have just that whole steak would have been mine. I would have gone through it. No regret.
And you cooked it perfectly. And a couple tips for those that want, my 2 cents. Biggest mistakes people make when they're grilling steaks is they'll tend to salt and pepper the steak, which I still do it. But what people don't know is that when you take fresh pepper, if you're using pepper, you're putting it on a steak and then you grill it and sear it in a pan or in a grill. Pepper, when it's burned or charred, tends to get bitter. So if you just salt your steaks and then reserve the fresh cracked black pepper at the end just to put on the steak right prior to eating it, you'll actually get a better flavor.
I've not done that. That's a great tip. That's a super easy tip.
Yeah, super easy tip. Just something we picked up. And also, you've got to remember a steak has, 4 sides. So when you're searing that steak, you want to sear bottom, top, side, side.
Oh yeah, and this was a massive cut. Like there was no getting around searing those sides and getting that done.
I think it was a 12 ounce that we sent you. That's been the standard, and you actually don't even want to go bigger than a 12, to be honest. You actually tend to lose some of the flavor. My personal, opinion or preference.
This is sweet. It's tender. This is just
buttery.
Yeah, it's just a delicious cut of meat.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I should have cooked alongside you.
Happy to meet you.
Hey, pleasure's all mine. And you did it the right way. So butter in the pan. And also take this we do for porterhouse strip. Butter in the pan. Smash a clove of garlic on one side. Put a sprig of rosemary on the other. Don't touch it. Just sear the steak. Let the butter get the flavor, from the garlic and the rosemary. Very subtle. I don't like anything overpowering. I like subtle flavors, layers of flavors.
I'm with you. Because even as the cliche goes, it's easier to add than to take away.
Absolutely. You can always add. And so that's what I do here. And then as you're cooking that steak, also a good rule of thumb, I always suggest a meat thermometer. I use it, every professional chef uses one. I don't go with the feel, but I will tell you this, a rule of thumb is on a steak that's about 1 inch to 1.5 inches thick, this will never fail you. I promise. 6 minutes aside, period. Let it rest. You will never fail. It's that easy.
This is Master Chef. I trust you. And
it's a great tip. I live by it.
I'm going to have some of the pork now. As far as what you can have delivered to your door, if you want a rack of lamb, you could do that.
A rack of lamb, and we actually have priced the rack of lamb is far less than what you'd ever pay going out to eat. So the rack of lamb is fantastic. You can get go online. How is it? Juicy, moist?
All right? Super moist.
Super moist. And I will say our chicken breast. So I'm all into the steak. I love a good chicken breast. I actually took one of our chicken breasts too. I was actually at my daughter's and we cooked. It was sort of like our own little, meatapalooza. And we cooked up I did the garlic chicken breast. I am telling you, the chicken breasts come from an Amish farm in Ohio, all vegetarian fed, none of the bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I can honestly tell you, you could probably cook that chicken breast for 3 hours, and it was the juiciest, most flavorful. I kid you not. I was blown away. It's just
this pork
it's
is ridiculous. This pork, I think people, not me, but I think some people are scared to cook pork. I think there's that old taboo that, I'll get trichinosis if I do something wrong. That's long since
since gone. And if you look at the way that pork is raised, the pigs are raised today, and really what they're fed and how they're treated, it's a whole different. There's actually a science behind the whole pork world now, in terms of how they get more moisture in the pork without, through the feeding process. It's actually a scientific process that a couple of producers have designed, and it's amazing. It's all in the feed, and it's the heritage, it's the way they're bred and raised. So it creates a much more flavorful, juicy texture, all by design. So
this is spectacular. And it's weird. For 6+ years, I ate food in my car. People watched as guests and I did it. Now I'm like super self-conscious. I'm eating in front of Master Chef Scott Fisher.
No,
please. On Facebook tonight. Zach, who just checked in on Facebook, says he loves pork. Zach's my man. Natalie says that pepper advice just blew her mind.
Yeah,
it's so basic, but no one I know does that. Everyone just does everything all together.
There's so many cool little neat tips and tricks. Here's a couple of things that I live by also. So you also don't worry about over seasoning your food. If you're going to season the oil. And I'll give you a good example. If you're making a fried egg, most people will put butter in a frying pan, put an egg in, and salt and pepper it or do whatever, and then it's on top of the egg. The theory is season the flavoring, season the oil or butter first, and then put your protein or your condiment in, because now your food will absorb the flavor from the oil, and it almost releases the aromatics of the spices. Don't ever just always flavor your proteins direct. Now with the steak, the other concept of that is flavor your cutting board. So whatever you like, whatever herbs, oils, grill your beef, take it out, always let it rest, which is, I think everyone hears to that. Let it rest 5-10 minutes, and then season your cutting board. You can put some oil, lemon, olive oil, herbs, whatever you like. And then as you cut your steak, the steak will fall into that seasoning on the board and lift it off and give you the freshest, brightest flavor. Because think about it, if you're oiling and seasoning your steaks on the grill, the heat's just charring it. And you get the flavor you get is typically from the fat, not from the beef itself.
Absolutely.
So when you put garlic powder or you put salt or pepper on a steak, put it on the protein, but season that fat. That's where that flavor is. And I always season my steaks on a cutting board or on a board, and then whatever residual seasoning is on that board, I'll lift that steak up and I'll take that fat and roll it right into it, because that's where you're getting the flavor. And also with pasta, think about this. I never drain pasta. So if you're just doing Parmesan cheese and olive oil or butter, season the bowl on the outside of the bowl. Take your olive oil or butter, season the bowl, take your Parmesan Reggiano, put it inside the bowl, crack black pepper, salt. So now you have all of that sticking to the oil on the inside of the bowl. Then you take your pasta, throw it into the bowl, and what does it do? It pulls it off the sides. And now you're getting all that flavor. So it's just a different approach to the way that you cook. And
it makes perfect sense. And I think if people are watching or listening right now, along with me, we all want to be your best friend. We want you to be our meat sensei. All right. So before we get to your career and background, happy to meet you. The website is happy to meet you. MEAT.
MEAT, and then the letter U. Happy to meet the letter U. Or for those that want a good pun, you can find us the same. Go to don'tbeacheapsteak.com. Either way, you can find us either way.
And then as far as what you have, we talked about the steak and the chicken. If you just want someone to make you a kick-ass burger that you can serve up, Kobe burgers, Angus, Prime. I mean, this is the real thing.
So we have the Kobe beef burgers, which tend to be very flavorful. A different texture, very rich. My favorite, I mean, they're all good. The Angus burgers, you cannot beat. You will never go. I promise you this. And if you're ever unhappy, and if anybody ever purchases and they're unhappy with their purchase, you're protected 100%. We will refund you back if you're not satisfied. But I will tell you this: these burgers, the Angus burgers, are 8 ounces. Amazing. We've been shipping through to 7 different states already. And those seem to be the most popular. They're just an incredibly well-prepared, crafted burger.
You mentioned wet aged earlier. I think we all kind of understand what dry aged is. I'm not convinced we all know what wet aged means.
So real simply put, it's an enzymatic solution. It sort of manipulates the proteins in the meat, and just gives it a very smooth, well-balanced texture. So it actually increases the aging process, and it inhibits the aging process much more quickly than that of a dry aging, whereas wet aging is going into the enzymes. It's almost like a marinade without any flavorings. And it creates really, in most steaks that you encounter are wet aged if you're going into a prime aged meat. So it's more of it's a solution, basically. And dry aging, on the other hand, is where the steak actually loses moisture. So the moisture is coming out of the meat, and the outside crust sort of gets this dark, almost like a black looking texture to it, from the lack of the moisture. But inside, it's getting caramely and nutty, and it gives it that real steaky. I don't even want to say gamey, because it's not gamey at all. It's a nutty, caramely flavor. And when you cut into a true dry aged steak, you're cutting off that crust on the outside, and you're releasing this beautiful ruby red interior. That's just, the flavor. Well, I think most people, if you've had a dry aged steak, you know where I'm going. But so it's more of a solution based, or a temperature controlled based.
That makes sense.
Way of.
One of the things you offer that we can have delivered to our door is a New Zealand rack of lamb. That it looks gorgeous. It sounds great. That seems like the kind of thing that people might be intimidated to cook.
Okay, lamb chops are in the rack of lamb, and I love a lamb chop. I'm a lamb chop with a long bone versus a loin chop guy. I love the long bone in the chop. I love the little piece of meat around the outside and that long bone. It is the easiest thing in the world. Lamb is the easiest thing to cook in the world. A rack of lamb, you literally salt and pepper and throw it in the oven. It's that easy. What I like to do, this is my absolute favorite. I encourage everybody to do this, and we can cut the lamb chops off the rack for you and just give you the individual chops. This is it. My favorite. Get a broiler pan out. Salt, pepper, garlic powder. Line them up on the broiler. Broil them 4 or 5 minutes aside until they get nice and crispy. Flip them, crisp up the other side. Serve them with mint jelly.
Oh yeah.
My favorite way. It's so simple. And they cook like that.
I'm glad we're doing this after dinner, because I feel like if we were talking about this before dinner, people would be jumping off because we're just going to make them hungry talking about this stuff.
Right.
All right. Happy to meet you, letter U.
Happy to meet you, the letter U.com.
To have this food delivered. I mean, this is as good as it gets. I mean, truly, the steak I'm having right now.
And again, everything's delivered to you fresh, cut that morning. We don't serve what I call steaksicles, like so many of our frozen competitors offer. We wanted to do something different. And even at the purveyor, they encouraged me to do frozen. I said, nope, I'm doing fresh. In Chicago, the Chicagoland area, the suburbs, we're doing fresh. Outside of Chicago, we ship everywhere virtually. That has to be frozen. But sure, even when we send orders out, as if people are sending them as a gift or people want to try them, in certain markets, people in California love us. I mean, shipping costs are a little high to the West Coast, but to get a great Chicago cut steak, some people they want it. So what we do is we cut them fresh that morning. We cryovac them and we flash freeze them that same moment. Pack them and send them off 1 to 2 days the latest in a really nice protected box, insulated, about 15 pounds of ice total, dry ice and ice packs, you get the same quality
That's
as
awesome.
you would if you came to Chicago. So we don't cut any corners. We try to do it and offer our steaks very, very competitively priced. We're really focused on that, hyper focused on that. And anybody can contact us through the website. And if there's something that you don't see and you want, just, we're your online butcher. We're here to, as we say, steer you in the right direction. I know the horrible
Back to the puns, yeah.
Back to the puns, but we really do. We want to be able to provide, any of our customers with what they want. So if you don't see something on our site, or you want a specific cut, you want a certain thickness, we can do it. And if we can't, we'll let you know. But chances are we can.
Happy to meet you.com. This is just, I have a gorgeous plate of meat in front of me right now. Let's talk a little bit about your history, your background.
Sure.
A lot of us may have first seen you on MasterChef, that first season.
The very first season.
Tough go around in the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, it was intense.
It was intense, and you were going. I mean, Gordon Ramsay dressed you down.
He dressed me down. So what happened was, and I was eliminated on one of the, I think it was an onion competition. What happened was I actually cut myself.
Right. They showed the apron afterwards.
The apron was bloody. Right here. That's it right here. So it was the bloody apron. It's my claim to fame. I actually ran back to the wrong station after I was bandaged up. And when they came to look at my preparation for the dish, I looked down and I looked next to me. And I know the 2 cast members that were supposed to be next to me weren't. They were like 5 rows down. And I looked and I ran back to someone else's station. And they're filming live. Yep. So, I mean, I could have made a spectacle. I probably should have, because it probably would have created more drama. But I was not at my station and I got the boot.
Oh, my God. That's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean,
so.
I'm sure
you know what?
I'm sure it was an interesting experience. It's one for.
It was the best experience that I personally had ever. It really taught me a lot, but I never expected to even make it past the audition. So
because there were like 40,000 people, right? Or like 4,000, 40.
There was 40. You're right. 40,000 people, and it was an interesting story because when I knew that I made it to go to LA to present my dish to see if I'd get an apron for those that watched the show. So I knew that I potentially made it that far. And this is true story. I was here getting ready to go to LA, and I got a phone call. I was supposed to leave because the production was starting. And I got a phone call from one of the production assistants on the show. And they said, Scott, we just want to let you know, only 2 people, we had a situation change. We can only bring 2 more people on for, to potentially be part of the cast. And it's between you and someone else. And they said the president of Fox is flying in an airplane, and he has all the photos of all the possible contestants. And he said he's making a choice. And I said, you've got to be kidding.
What a weird thing to be told.
What a weird thing. And I said, okay. I had already went and got shopped for clothes, and that would be my big break. And so now I thought, I don't even stand a chance now. And I got a call, and they said, you ready to go to LA? And I said, you bet. And off I went. And that was just it's just, you just never expect. I never expected anything, but I knew
that's so weird to be told that. And I'm sure all these things are running through your mind. Like, should I have lost weight? Should I have had my hair a different way? Like all these like exactly obsessive, right. Like self-inventory things you're going through.
Absolutely. And then, but there is nothing, and I don't even know how to explain it it's just personal satisfaction when I presented my dish, and there were challenges there too. But luckily Graham Elliott was on the show, and Graham obviously from Chicago. So he was one of the judges. So it was Graham Elliott, Joe Bastianich, Lydia's son, and Gordon. And Joe Bastianich gave me a no. Graham gave me a definite yes, the Chicago connection. And it was up to Gordon to put me through, and he did. And then the rest was history. And it was like this euphoric state where, and I think one of the casting directors was on the back lot after I received the apron, and she said to me, she looked at me right now and she said, Scott Fisher, I will tell you this, your life will never be the same once you appear on the show. And, at a certain level, it's true. I mean, in my life, a lot of opportunities took off in so many different directions. and it was a great ride.
I love it. And I've got to think that now that we're in quarantine or whatever this is right now, reality TV probably prepared you for this. Because didn't you have to live
Oh,
kind of a sequestered life?
you live a total sequestered life. So when you get there, they take, and this holds true with any of the reality shows. The same production company did The Bachelor as well, so we were sort of filming both at the same time. But you're sequestered, so you have a roommate. You're in a hotel room, can't leave. You can't go to a restaurant without being accompanied. They don't want you talking or socializing with anyone. You have no cell phone, no computer, no access to the outside world. You're sort of like you're held. It's total.
It's like you're in a murder trial. You're
like in a murder trial. You cannot. And the reason they do that, and I found this to be interesting. The reason, they're very careful. I mean, it's very well crafted as to why they do that. And they want all of your anxieties, all of your pent up emotions. They want everything released on camera. And so they purposely do that because if you're going stir crazy, they want all that energy to be released right the day of filming. So, and then those that do, when we do leave the show, for those that do exit off, they have a psychiatrist literally a therapist sitting off stage that you have to go through an exit interview with to make sure. Some people, they put their life on the line for the show.
Sure.
And I know people that lived in that lived in a trailer off in the backwood. This was their one and only shot at potential success. And it was interesting to see the reaction of all these, the people, how they handled this. But it was an interesting ride. It was great. Loved every minute of it, and it really prepared you. I was a nervous wreck prior, but once you got into the zone and you started like anything else, you just became very comfortable and relaxed.
Sure.
It wasn't an issue.
Makes sense to me. So since then, you've been kind of a go-to celebrity chef. You've been involved with the Grammys, the Oscars, Dancing with the Stars. When I think of that, I can only help but wonder, do celebrities even eat? Do they need to be fed? It doesn't look like any of them actually.
They do. Actually, the first season that I did for Dancing with the Stars, when we did the wrap party, was the season that Drew Carey was on. And Drew had just lost a lot of weight. So one of the reasons why we did this event is we partnered with a company called Blendtec, who makes the great blenders. And we wanted to do a healthy wrap party. So everything that we created had to be created in a Blendtec blender, believe it or not. So we made this avocado ice cream, and Drew Carey loved it. He had just lost all this weight, was trying to eat healthy. It was great. And yeah, it opened up all those opportunities, but it was a unique experience. Cooked for 500 people, in LA, and he had done it, several times thereafter.
See, that seems more stressful to me than doing a reality TV show, like cooking for that volume.
It is. So we took over. So we did all of the wrap party that we did that one year. We took over the Sofitel Hotel in LA, and at 3:00 in the afternoon, never forget it, I had 3 weeks to prepare for cooking for 500 of LA's, not only people from the show, but celebrities and press and media that night. And we took over the hotel kitchen at 3 p.m. The hotel staff left.
Mm-hmm.
I came in with my team. We converted the entire Sofitel over to, a Dancing with the Stars event, and we cooked our little hearts out. But I did a lot of the prep from Chicago. We partnered with Whole Foods, and it was a huge coordination effort, but we pulled it off, and it was an incredible event. So sort of like a Wolfgang Puck event, only.
It seems exhilarating. You get to the end of it and you're like, well, I'm not sleeping for another day.
It was great. Yeah. It's again, it's that adrenaline. It's making sure that everything goes off without a glitch, and with that, it's probably more pressure than it was on MasterChef, only because we had, TMZ was there reporting on it. And I think they said, they gave it a glowing review. And a lot of the LA press was there, and you're being highlighted, you're being critiqued. So it's
sure.
You want to make sure that it's good. I brought some local Chicago folks down with me. We actually did a cake out of I bake as well, and we made the cake look like the Dancing with the Stars dance floor. It was pretty cool. We did a mirror ball trophy that was edible as well. So it was amazing.
Is it true you were never formally trained?
Never. And so that was the caveat with MasterChef. So in order to appear on MasterChef or be cast on MasterChef, you could not have a classically trained background, and they believe me through they interviewed us 4 times prior to, to getting on the show, and they would ask you questions that pertain to cooking to see if you knew. They were trying to catch us to see if we really knew some inside terms.
Sure. I mean, if you give someone an incentive, they'll find a way to get to that incentive. I mean, if there's a way to cheat the system, someone will try to do it.
Yeah, it's sort of like somebody who goes in and knows how to, to rebuild an engine in their garage. They never went, they didn't go to school to become a mechanic, but they know through their passion, they know it's their hobby, and how to do it. So that was, cooking has always been my hobby. I mean, I grew up on the North Shore. I was eating in restaurants by the time I think I was 4. Spent a lot of time at my favorite steakhouse, which is no longer there in Highwood, called my favorite inn, Willie's. Best New York strip steak al forno with a side of ravioli al forno. I wish.
My memories of Highwood are much more irresponsible and decadent. And
yeah, well, we have those memories too.
Okay,
but I'm going back to, I guess the point I was trying to make was I always had always grown up eating out and enjoying really, really good food, and so I was always surrounded by it. Worked and put in my, I worked as a server in a number of restaurants. I attended bar for quite some time. Always have been around the culinary world, so truly enjoy it.
So you turned a hobby and a passion into a career.
I turned a hobby into a career.
I believe that's what they call the American dream.
It is, because no one can ever tell you. I think I was sitting in a restaurant and we were looking down and I saw an ad or something in the paper. Oh no, I was in Seattle actually, on business before I started before MasterChef popped up, and someone told me, "Hey Scott, there's this new show that's going to start. Why don't you audition for it?" And actually, this is a good friend of mine who's actually a server up at Hugo's Frog Bar, and he said, I said, Tommy, you know what? I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. I'm coming back from Seattle. He said, look, I'll go get the food. I'll prepare. I'll get everything for you. You come and prepare it by me, and we'll go the next morning to audition. And I said, oh, all right. So I begrudgingly went, and that was it. I knew that I wanted to do it. I just needed that motivation to get me to the next point. But I've always had a passion of cooking, just like yourself. I mean, I just took that passion a lot further. I've always enjoyed it.
I love it. And beyond the Hollywood type stuff, you've worked for some pretty big corporate names. I mean, Sur La Table and Williams Sonoma.
I've done the cooking, right? I've done cooking, so I was part of the cooking team for Williams Sonoma up until recently. I was president of the Gelato Fest in Chicago down on Taylor Street this last year.
The Gelato Fest. Why have I never been to the Gelato Fest?
Last year was our first year on Taylor Street. The year before that, and this is the actual. So they have chefs coming in from all over the world that competed for the best gelato, and actually a Chicago chef won this last year. Interestingly enough, so this was the first year we had it down on Taylor Street through Ron Onesti and Onesti Entertainment that put it together, and it was incredible. The year before that, we had it out in the suburbs, in Aurora, out at the outlet mall. But this last year, we wanted to make it bigger and better. The crowds were incredible, and we actually bring in the largest mobile gelateria. So it's an actual gelato. To say a truck, it's a gelato kitchen on wheels. It's huge, and all the chefs from all over the world fly in, create their gelato creations, and then a series of judges from the Chicago area. It goes from city to city, and we do this for about, I think it's the next 5 years, and then ultimately the ultimate gelato chef is crowned. But you taste just an unbelievable variety and array of gelato.
That's the kind of thing that is a true marathon, not a sprint. You got to pace yourself.
Oh God, yeah, you do. But it's incredible. I mean, it really is. So I've had a chance to oversee that, and I did some work back with Sur La Table, way back when, and it's interesting.
You've got credentials, I guess, is the long story made short. Yeah,
got the chops.
One thing I wanted to mention before we part ways.
Yeah.
you had a cookie company, and the cookie making is subtly back in business in Happy to Meet You.
Yeah, never get veered off from and the cookie was, we launched that actually on Dancing with the Stars. It was a takeoff on my name. It was fish and chips. It was brown butter based confection, really, really good. And then we had a great oatmeal cookie and the cookie. Yes. So I wanted to bring the cookie back. So I wanted you to see what we're providing. You know, we want to give a sweet little treat in each box. There's a little surprise. We don't really tell it, but maybe now we will because there's been so much interest in it. But we actually crafted these handmade ribeye steak cookies. So we're happy to sweet you as well.
I love it. Well, here's the thing. I opened the box and my son is like looking over my shoulder as I am seeing what's in there. He says, "That cookie's the greatest. Can I have it?" No, I'm sorry. I'll do anything for you, son. Just not this cookie.
I don't think there's another one on the market. You know, when I first saw it, and again, they're handmade by this incredible cookie artisan who I know. Her name is Sweet Lily B, and she creates them for us. And we literally created a mold of the logo. And we actually, I don't know if you have the cookie there or not, but it's.
Oh, no, the cookie's in my tummy now.
The cookie's in your tummy. Okay, well, we'll have to send you more. But it looks incredible. I was actually staring at it when we first produced them. And I'm like, I can't believe this. This is crazy. So
I love it. I love it. All right.
It's fun.
So happy to meet you. Happy to meet you.com. Really, we're all cooking all the time. We all want to have great restaurant quality meals at home that are easy to put together. This is steakhouse quality stuff. This strip steak that I made tonight is just.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Really, truly, and I'm
going to sleep like a baby on top of everything else.
That's right. You will.
I do want to thank everyone who's been watching on Facebook Live. And of course, if you're listening to the podcast after the fact, thank you for that too. And I'm going to stop the Facebook Live feed. Thank you, everybody there.